Hi, this is Joy again. I'm back. I've started school last month, so been a little bit busy trying to get back into the groove of school. But I was going through some of my things and decided to do a little video. I found I have a lot of actually old poems that I wrote when I was 15, 16 years old. Which is when I started going to the Spiritual Rights Foundation cult. And, it's kind of hard reading these poems because it reminds me of that time of being 16 and I was extremely vulnerable at the time. And just thinking back to the ministers who took me in at the Academy for Psych Studies, which is one of the schools of the Spiritual Rights Foundation along with ISHI Hypnosis, and just the pressure to basically change my life. Of course it seemed like it would be for the better. I was 16, I was confused, not really sure what direction to go as far as when I got out of high school, but that's normal for kids that age. But I was brought in to the Spiritual Rights Foundation off of fear. It's a bit hard to tell some of these stories about in the beginning. Kind of how I got involved with the Spiritual Rights Foundation. But I talked with a friend several weeks ago, and he was telling me that it'd probably be good if I tell some of my own stories, that may be therapeutic for me and also help show another side of what happens at the Academy. I'm just going to read this poem, and I'll probably do these in little segments. But I can tell you now, it's been quite a while, a couple months, that I've been trying to figure out how did I actually get to this place, to the Spiritual Rights Foundation. How did I get involved? Why did I get involved? What is it about me that got me into this situation, into this toxic group, toxic cult, whatever you want to call it? I think there's many factors, but also there are so many people who got involved with this cult from various backgrounds, various degrees of intelligence and emotional maturity. There isn't one set of person, and it's definitely a misconception that people who join cults or toxic groups have something wrong with them, are somehow weak or something. It's not really true. Anyone can get sucked in. Usually people who join cults is when they're going through a time of transition inside of their life. And they really seek a support group. They seek to find people who care about them, that they can talk to. Perhaps they're going through a divorce or a loss of job, or they're going through a midlife crisis and they're trying to figure out what their spirituality is. So there's some organizations out there, whether it be religious or political or self-help groups, that are toxic groups. And they take advantage of these people who are in transitions, like myself. Like I said, I was 16 when I first joined. I wouldn't have joined unless certain things kind of fell into place, which I may talk about in a little bit here. But okay, back to the poem here. Many a time I've wondered why the life of me seems to waver and then unfold. that in the spring I ripen, and within I find a spring of gold. But when the fall calls to me, I seemingly become withdrawn and hide away. Tell me, what kind of flower am I? Or do you ever know? So, to me, I mean, this is a poem I wrote, but it was such a long time ago, about 14, 15 years ago. This is probably the first year that I was at the academy, and I'd already adopted a lot of the SRF speak, or cult speak. That's actually a term. Toxic groups have their own language, and I've already adopted some of that, and I can tell in this poem, even though it sounds like any regular poem, there's definitely words that are specific towards the group I was in. And there's a lot of questions in here too, like, who am I? And also I'm definitely talking about there's some kind of war going on inside of me that I seem to unfold. I seem to grow at this organization through the classes and workshops. That in the spring I ripen, and then I withdraw. That was very typical of many people going through the program and the classes, where they unfold. They feel good after class, after trance. You get all those endorphins going. You think you've had this great healing, miraculous healing, but really you haven't. It's just a natural reaction to being in that trance state of being hypnotized, or having someone mess with your brain. But then afterwards, there's a downtime. And then you see all around you, things aren't quite going right, but you're being told by the leaders that, no, everything's fine. And so you're constantly being invalidated on what you're seeing and what you're feeling. So there's this constant withdrawing where you feel scared and pent up. And definitely within the first year I was there, I was definitely experiencing that. And I know that. I remember this poem. And I have many more like that. And that is a common experience with almost everyone I have known going through the program there. A high after classes, and then a crash right afterwards. That's it for now. I'm going to do another video about a little bit about my beginning story. Thank you. Good night.